My husband was a teen dad, we will refer to his daughter as an. And's mom, grandma and grandma were all teen moms. And is now 16 years old and pregnant. And stays mostly with us because I am the one who pays most of 75% her private high school tuition. It had always been my husband who pays for And's expenses. When Ann turned 14 she wanted to move in with us to start her high school in the big city we live in. We checked on high school and since public school is terrible here, we decided to enroll her in a fancy private high school. She has always been set that she wanted to be an economist and that she wanted to move to another country to pursue her dream. I have been separating some money for this purpose too. My husband and I came to an agreement that I would also help her dream to come true, but I would cease any economic help towards her tuition if she became a teen mom and did not know this, and he agreed. This conversation took place 2 years ago. And now, Ann is pregnant as soon as she finished her first year. I laid some facts down to Ann, gave her some articles and statistics about how teen moms are one of the most vulnerable groups of people, that this will hinder her dream of going to another country to study, and that she knows the stigma it comes with. I recommended she terminated the pregnancy. Ann's mom is ecstatic and so is her grandma. They have this weird belief where they think they can make it for so much better for her than it was for them because of all the experience. I think they're absolute loonies. I bet they don't even have the money to pay for the hospital when the time comes. I believe they think we will pay for all of the unborn child's costs. I am dead serious about stopping tuition and using the money I've been saving and other stuff if Ann decides to carry on with the pregnancy. I have not and will not make the ultimatum of terminate or I'll stop paying your tuition, but I will tell her that I won't pay for her nice school and her child's expenses if she decides she wants to keep it. I don't even want to become one of those grandmas who take care of the child. I firmly believe a normal teen life has to be child-free. Money will go to some of the child's expenses and I will give no more. And can either enroll in a public high school or one within her dad's budget and set herself for a uni scholarship under dad's budget. My husband is telling me I need to understand the situation. I do not and will not endorse this teen mom dynasty in any way. This is the hill I will die on. I can actually continue paying for her fancy high school, saving a lot less for the unit and some of the future child's expenses too, but I feel like I'll be rewarding her for being irresponsible and freaking myself over something I shouldn't. Husband firmly believes I am doing this to punish him and I am being an idiot for compromising her future over this matter. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It's your money, do with it what makes you feel comfortable. I think you're being very generous to pay for most of her schooling, and I understand why you would feel uncomfortable continuing to support her after this. But have a discussion with Ann about it before announcing your decision. I don't think the 16-year-old is necessarily the idiot. I think the husband who is expecting his wife to continue to pay for her stepdaughter is an idiot. If he feels so strongly about it, then maybe he should take over more of her, at least an equal amount of the financial burden. Not the idiot. You don't owe her a private education, you don't have to foot the bill for a baby you tried to prevent, and she's a freaking moron for getting off the pill in the first place. You tried hard, you made a deal with your husband, and now he wants you to back out of it because the crap hit the fan. If she doesn't terminate, then she deserves the life she has chosen for herself, and it's not your job to make it okay or more convenient for her. Ann and her mom can do that since they are actively encouraging keeping the baby. Not the idiot. It's your money, you can do as you please. I think you'll get a different tune out of her once you give her the details of her choices and what comes with it. I would firmly stand my ground if my teen got pregnant. Because I will be taking care of it. How is she going to care for it? Right. You're not the idiot, but at least let her know her options with each choice so she'll know everything and then can make the choice. Side note, with mom and mom acting the way they are, she won't have an abortion, she won't give it up. She'll do exactly as they say. My newborn's pediatrician is always so crowded in terms of the size of waiting room versus number of people waiting. It requires a certain amount of etiquette controlling your free kid because there are no toys, no play area, no real space for shenanigans. Enter lady with 4 kids. A newborn, 2 toddlers, and a kindergarten-aged kid, a little girl in question here. She really should have brought an iPad or a second adult or something because her kids were literally running around this tiny space, yelling and screeching. The mom was oblivious to all of her kids except the newborn, who was quietly breastfeeding while mom was glued to her phone screen. Accordingly, other people were put in the awkward position of having to discipline her kids. Several people had previously tried to put her kids back in line for whatever issue, harassing their kids, being loud, whatever. Her kindergarten-age daughter, who clearly had some kind of special needs, was absolutely enamored with my newborn and his stroller. She was asking me if she could push it around. No, she was getting super close to my newborn, stop, and was generally just being annoying. For fuck's sakes, at one point when I wasn't looking and was preoccupied with my own kid, she went digging in my diaper bag and throwing my stuff onto the chair and the floor. My newborn was really fussy because we were there for a sick visit and he wasn't feeling well, and I did not feel like entertaining some strange kid. I tried being polite about it. Sweetie, where's your mommy? Points to mom, ma'am, points to kid. The lady would call her kid back, but the kid just kept coming back to me. Rinse and repeat. I told her she needed to stay with her mom. Little punk says I don't wanna and keeps trying to touch my son, my stroller, our stuff. Finally, I'm trying to fix a bottle of formula while holding a screaming baby and listening to this little girl like a broken record. Why is your baby crying? Why is your baby crying? Make him stop. I don't like that, and her annoying self knocks my bottle of formula off the table and into my stroller. So now I'm out formula, kid still screaming, and I have a huge mess that I don't have a great way to clean up. I'm at my wit's end. I raise my voice at this kid. Look what you did. I am not your mom, I am not your babysitter. You're bothering me. Get out of my face. People looked at me like I was the biggest idiot on earth. A lady speaking Spanish actually did call me an idiot. The little girl starts crying. I'm not apologizing. The mom confronts me. I tell her she should have been watching her kid, and that's the hill I'm prepared to die on. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Well, you could have handled the situation better. The difference between how you handle an annoying kid versus an annoying adult is thus. You immediately or quickly yell at the adult. For a kid, you're polite, then get their guardian, and if their guardian doesn't discipline them, you try to gently discipline them, but it gets to a point when you have no choice but to yell at them. You didn't curse or use overly offensive language, so I fail to see the problem. You can be accepted to sit there while being tormented by a kid. I'm gonna trust the opinions of everyone else in the waiting room who saw this go down and say you are the idiot. They saw the whole thing, saw the kids misbehave, saw the formula spill, and some felt so strongly you were an idiot, they were comfortable calling you idiot over your behavior, despite the presence of children. I get that you're seeking validation and have given yourself the best framing possible, but you still were the adult here and chose to lose it at a 5-year-old. Everyone's the idiot here. The mother is definitely an idiot. She clearly had no interest in actively parenting her kid in that moment. It wasn't acceptable for her to let her child bother others, period. Still, you screamed in a small child's face. You mentioned this child having special needs. Crying babies will fray every nerve, I get that, and this kid exacerbated the frustration by a ton. Not the kid's fault, however. If you insisted on getting loud with someone, why didn't you direct it to the mother? In 2017, I moved in with 2 roommates from Craigslist in their mid-20s, Heather and Jeff. I lived with them for a little under a year. Heather was on the shyer, more reserved side and not easy to talk to, but we got along well. I moved out just over a year ago, about 20 miles away, and hadn't seen her since, though we're still friends on Facebook. Recently, I joined a new gym, and my second time there I was surprised to see someone who was instantly recognized as Heather behind the front desk. This was surprising as she lives 20 miles away, but I was absolutely certain it was her. I said, "Hey Heather. Good to see you again." She gave me a really funny stare and told me she was not Heather. Her voice sounded just like Heather's as well. She told me her name is Maddie, and it was clear she didn't recognize me. I walked away feeling super embarrassed and puzzled. That girl looked, sounded, and acted so identical to Heather in every way, shape, and form, to a degree that is impossible to be a simple coincidence. I pondered things in my mind, and on my way out approached Maddie. I asked her, "Sorry if this is too personal, but I'm wondering, are you adopted by any chance?" She responded that she is, but hasn't made any effort to find her bio family. I told her that I strongly suspect that I know her identical twin sister and explained things to her. I showed a picture of Heather on my phone to her, and to my surprise she didn't act all that impressed, just giving me a simple, okay. I told her that I have Heather's number, am friends with her on Facebook, have her address, and would be happy to connect them, and she responded disinterestedly, "No thanks." I called Heather later and explained things to her, and she too seemed disinterested. I found Maddie's profile on Facebook by searching people who work at, name of my gym, and texted Heather photos of her. But still, she acted disinterested. I've met Heather's parents and they strongly resemble her, so what I suspect is that Heather's mom had an extra baby, Maddie, that she gave up for adoption and never told her about. I continued going to the gym, and almost every time I went Maddie would be there. Every time I saw Heather's exact double, it would continue to bug me. I feel like I discovered something really amazing and groundbreaking, and it's going unappreciated. I added Maddie on Facebook and she accepted. Maybe she didn't know it was me, since I have the mascot for a beloved baseball team of mine, instead of a picture of myself as my profile picture. Having both girls as friends, I messaged both of them into a three-way Facebook chat, finally forcing them to interact with one another. I was promptly blocked by both of them and don't know how things turned out. I'm now pretty nervous to go to the gym and am considering looking for a new one. Was I the idiot to try and reunite these girls who I'm positive are twins? Yes, you are the idiot. You showed both of them the pictures, they seemed disinterested at best, and you continued to press the issue until they both blocked you. How many more hints do you need to understand that they don't want to meet? Even if they are related, you are idealizing the situation, as though it's some cutesy chick flick plot, and at the end, they cheerfully embrace and catch up on the lost time in a montage of laughter. In reality, this would surface some extremely complex emotions and is likely to be very emotionally painful for both of them. Leave them alone. You are the idiot and I bet they aren't even twins. I've confused so many people with one another when they couldn't have been related at all. I'm slightly face blind, but I bet it would still happen sometimes because I've heard non-face blind people make the same mistake too. That explains why Maddie was disinterested, she knows what she looks like, and it's not like Heather. Plus, how often do parents adopt out an extra baby? I've never heard of that happening with twins, not saying it never could, but seems very unlikely. Well, I think you had good intentions. I don't know why someone wouldn't want to get the no long-lost twin, but maybe there's more to the story that you don't know. Maybe they already knew about each other and they just pretend they don't. That's my suspicion, since they didn't even seem surprised or interested at all. Maybe Maddie was like disowned by the rest of her family for some reason. I think you did the right thing by telling them about each other though, you just shouldn't have pushed any farther after they both said no. My wife and I are both Canadian. I just had a business trip to Geneva and my wife wanted me to get some chocolate from a place she found online. In particular, their chocolate truffles are apparently really famous, so she wanted me to bring back a bunch. Despite this bakery is a 1-hour 30-minute commute each way from where I'm staying, of course, I obliged to make my wife happy. Unfortunately, when I arrived they're sold out of said truffles, but still, have a wide variety of chocolate goodies to choose from. Not wanting to disappoint my wife, I buy a bunch of said chocolate to bring home, way more than the truffles she originally asked for. When I get home and explain the truffle situation, she isn't appreciative of what I brought. She says she doesn't want the chocolate and questioned whether I went to the right place, if I looked hard enough, etc, etc. Honestly felt a bit fed up since I really went out of my way to get her this, and she doesn't even say thanks. Anyway, to cut a long story short, since she said she didn't want the chocolate I went to my neighbors and gave it all to their daughters, 9 and 11. They were really happy and it made me feel a bit better. When my wife finds out I gave away her chocolate she blows her lid and demands I get her some more to make it up to her. Obviously, I am a bit biased here so asking for an unbiased idiot judgment. If I'm an idiot I'll bite my tongue and get her more chocolate. Everyone's the idiot here. It's your wife. She's allowed to get mad at you for silly things. We all have our idiosyncrasies in marriages. It's normal. Surely you should know her well enough to know that this was probably just a tantrum because she was disappointed. Giving away the Swiss chocolate on account of this without asking her seems spiteful. We are supposed to be more forgiving and kind to those we love. It isn't a business transaction with a third party. You seem to have missed that. Your wife's lack of gratitude is ugly. I gotta say, you had me at the title. As a huge chocolate aficionado, I was so ready to give a bit fat "you're the idiot, how could you even question that," but after reading it, not the idiot no doubt. If she's going to be in about it, she doesn't deserve a gift, and I'm sure those girls enjoyed it much more than she would have. Plus she literally said she didn't want it. As a woman, I firmly believe that when women say crap they don't mean because they expect men to read their mind, they deserve to be listened to. Maybe that will teach them to stop making stupid high school games. Not the idiot. She should have been grateful that you went through all that trouble. She also made it clear she didn't want the chocolate, so it isn't fair that she got mad that you gave it to someone who would be more appreciative. Out of curiosity, did you attempt to contact her when you got to the shop and saw they were out? I wonder if getting her input right away if possible could have prevented her from escalating the situation. That doesn't justify her reaction, though. Let me start off by saying I have autism and post-traumatic stress disorder. My wife finally said we could get a cat to help calm down stress and to give me something to take care of. We found a cute little shelter about an hour away, went in, and I fell in love with this little lady. She's 3 and for personal anxiety, I can't pay cat tax. Well, little lady couldn't come home with us because she was due for a dental appointment and we were fine with that. I still paid for her and was waiting for a call all week. When we got the call to come together I was having a rough day, I was disassociated, panicky, but I wanted to go with my wife together. We drive down and it's quiet at first inside until a mother and child come in, and this child is loud. Smacking carriers to see if there's were cats inside, touching everything. I do my best to ignore and focus on getting her into the carrier safely. Until the child started shrieking how that was his cat and he wanted it, etc. The mother just looked at me and asked if I'd reconsider. I said no. She asked if her son could hold her one last time, but my cat is hissing and my last nerve is dying. I said no and head to my car when my wife says paperwork is done. This woman followed us out and told me I was heartless, etc. And I lost it. I turned to her and snapped, "Will you back off? She's my cat and I'm going home. Go pick out another poor cat for your kid to terrorize and leave us the hell alone." I cried on the way home, and my wife said it was justified for her behavior. But was I the idiot? Random information. Little lady is currently sleeping on my feet, I can't imagine not having her here. Not the idiot. Even a neurotypical person might have snapped in your situation. If you've picked out a cat at the shelter, it's already become your cat in your mind, even if you couldn't take her home right away. Giving up the cat to that woman then would still be like giving your cat away to a stranger. It's not as simple as just picking out another one, like a box of cereal at the supermarket or something. We're talking about a pet, not a thing. She was being an entitled idiot and you held it together pretty well in my opinion. Everyone's the idiot here. She's an idiot for her behavior, your behavior was also out of line. I live with anxiety as well, and I can imagine it's incredibly difficult with your other diagnosis, so yeah, your reaction was idiotish, but honestly who cares at the end of the day? You made a bad choice, learn from it, try to hold your tongue next time, and then move forward. Congratulations on your little lady, focus on the good today, and enjoy your own great family, wishing you all the best. Not the idiot, at all. You reacted way better than I would have. I rely on animals and meds to help keep my anxiety and angry under control, and if some mom and her crazy ask to touch my cat, doesn't take no, and then follows me, I would absolutely and completely lose it. You have nothing to feel bad or sorry about, and if it means anything from a stranger, you did great. Give your kitty the love she deserves, and keep the love from her that you deserve. So much good luck, and give her lots of pets or scratches, whatever she likes.